So I've decided to actually start documenting what I'm doing. I actually started soldering as my new hobby a few days before Christmas when I first received these. When I ordered these Christmas trees, they're actually a few different pieces, but when they put together, it's one tree. But they came in without these lights. You can see that the other parts haven't really been soldered on yet. When I first ordered this, I didn't realize that I had to solder anything on, right? I didn't even know what soldering is. But anyway, because of that, I really want to make these work. So I started ordering soldering stuff, right? Like this USB charging soldering iron. What is this called? This is a wire cutter, mini wire cutter, and all this other stuff, right? And all because I wanted to make this tree work. And by the way, today is January 7th. You can see that I haven't really completed anything. I have a lot of excuses of why I haven't completed that since before Christmas to now. I have all this time. Actually, it's funny because I've actually was somewhat interested in electronics and kind of engineering stuff even back in the day. So when I received my tree, I actually remembered that I have ordered this set that I have never assembled or soldered. This is supposed to be an oscillator. Is that what it's called? I can't even remember the word, but it's supposed to show you waves and stuff. It can show you sound waves. That's my understanding. But that's another thing that's been sitting around that I haven't really worked on. When I first ordered this a long ass time ago, I did not realize that I had to solder it on because all I saw was the picture of the completed product. So I thought it was cool. I didn't know what it was. I didn't need it. I just really liked the little waves charts that the screen shows, and I thought that it was really cool. But here's another project that I needed to work on. Ever since I've decided that I wanted to have soldering as my new hobby, I actually started ordering a lot of sets and stuff. But they were so freaking cheap on AliExpress, so I just ordered 10 more. Most of them are LED lights with different kind of blinks. Then I have one that shoots like a cannon or whatever. Supposedly a Tesla coil. So I figured that I can learn how to solder while learning about electronics. So another thing is that back in the day, when I was kind of interested in these kinds of stuff, electronics, engineering, I don't know, stuff like this, I actually ordered the Raspberry Pi 3 Model B. It was $35. I was like, what the heck? I don't have a background in computer engineering or engineering. I didn't go to school for that shit. I actually went to school for languages, so it's I've always been a humanities heavy person. However, as I grew older, I just started figuring out that, hey, why not put my mind into something that I may not be used to? So this is how I justified my new hobby, right? But anyway, going back to the Raspberry Pi 3, it's been sitting in one of my drawers for probably 10 years now from the time that I first bought this item. The only thing that I've done with it is you can see that there's a case. There's this beautiful case around it, and I've added a few. Well, that's not a heat sink. I've added 2 heat sinks that didn't need soldering. It was just there's a sticky sticker that you peel off and you stick it in there, and that was it. So that's the only thing I've done with this. I remember I had Sonic Pi on here. I had the Raspberry Pi Noops package downloaded onto this thing back in the day, which I realized that Noops is no longer available, but Sonic Pi is still available to download for free. Another thing that I did with this was that I actually ordered a screen that fitted onto this through, I think it was over here, and within the first 5 minutes of me making the screen work, it was a touch screen. It was really neat and come with a little DS pen and all that stuff, right? But anyway, within the first 5 minutes of me having that screen, I accidentally knocked this off. The screen fell onto the floor directly and it cracked immediately. So that was the end of my Raspberry Pi adventure. Before the screen incident, I was actually working on learning how to use the breadboard. I was using one of my breadboards and I learned how to make some LEDs blink and stuff, right? And I remember I made one or a few LED blinked, and I probably didn't use the right resistor, or I didn't use a resistor at all. And anyway, I made the LED blink and I stepped off to make some tea and I came back and the LED was on fire with the breadboard sitting right on top of my favorite rug. So that was what killed the beginning of my hobby at that time. But that was back in the day when my mind wasn't as, I want to say, mature. So I didn't really stick with things as much, right? And back in the day, I was more into like the humanities and stuff. So I was more able to stick with humanities topics without an immediate outcome. Whereas stuff like this, which is something that I wasn't used to. So when I couldn't see a happy outcome, I just gave up. But anyway, I'm restarting this hobby and I wanted to document everything. I've actually cleaned out this workbench probably about 2 weeks before Christmas. This wall over here is still kind of, you guys can't see it right now, it's off camera for a reason. It's where we store all the shit that we don't need. But I'm slowly working on getting rid of all this wood over here on this side. I don't know what I'm gonna work on today. I feel like so far I have 2 soldering projects that I've started that I've never finished. So right now I have like 0 soldering projects that I have completed. This was the first one that I started working on. It's supposed to be like a sound controlled, I don't know if you can see this. This is supposed to be a sound controlled LED waterfall light thing. So you can see all the holes that are here. Let me move this light over a little, turn this a little. So you can see all the holes that are still present. That means that I haven't like put in anything, I haven't soldered anything yet. Once I completed this, all of these holes would be covered, and hopefully once I plug this into the correct, I don't even know the words of these, like, you know, like these items, into the correct outlet, inlet, whatever, into the correct electrical source, hopefully it would just do what it's supposed to do. So that was my first one. This piece was a little less than $2, so this is why I ordered like 10 different projects, 10 or more different projects, right, along with all these tools and stuff, because they're so freaking cheap, right? This is the Christmas light one. This one does have a bit more LED lights. I've shown you guys this already, and there's like spots for like resistors, and I don't know if there are transistors in here. There's definitely resistors. Apparently resistors go with LED lights. That's something that I've learned from setting my LED light on fire before. I can't remember much about how to read the resistors. I can show you guys what a resistor actually looked like, because this is something that I can actually name, because I actually learned the name for this thing. These are resistors, and you can see the little like bands, little colored bands on it. I don't know, you can like, let me see if a white background would make it better, but these are the bands that are on these resistors are supposed to tell you the number of these resistors or whatever. So like there are actually charts that are made for this. I haven't really like gone through this chart yet, but I was able to do this before, which I have forgotten how to do. So this is something that I need to work on again. This is called a breadboard. This is something that you stick all these little pieces in, the little electrical pieces in. This is something that you can use for like prototyping without having to solder. So this is what I started with a long ass time ago. And this time I'm going to learn the skills of how to do the breadboard, how to do prototyping, and how to solder and how to code using Python from the Raspberry Pi 3 Model B. So hopefully I could combine all this and make something cool. But I know for a fact that this is going to take me a long time. I'm going to take my sweet little time on this. Again, this is something that is pretty much brand new to me. My mind is probably very used to the humanities instead, but that does not necessarily mean that I may not be good at, you know, engineering and stuff like that. But I am very curious and I want to try. I just want to keep expanding, you know, my mind, my skill sets and stuff, because I don't really know what else to do with my life. I'm turning 41 in about 12 days. I just want to do something cool. So today's the first time I'm actually on camera to try to record this, try to document this, and I will probably just post this on my new YouTube channel. Keep starting these like new YouTube channels and I don't know what the fuck to do with them. So this is what I'm gonna do. Maybe I can show you guys like my workbench. Let me hold this up. So you can see this is a pretty long workbench actually. Let me close these legs now. That's a pretty long workbench. It's got plenty of room for me to have my old monitor in the corner that is hooked to my Raspberry Pi, which is behind my laptop. Eek. Yeah, right there, there's my laptop. And then I have the old tools that are all on the wall now, and then I have this display that has a bunch of little stuff that I've collected through the years, and I have hooked up a fairy light to it so it could look a little better. Also in the corner, where's my remote? In the corner, I don't know if you can see it, but the little white item behind it, that is actually my galaxy light. See it? Let me turn it into nebula. So that is my galaxy light. Makes it more lively right there in the corner, right, with all this stuff. So this is what I have. This is my setup right now. That's one of my toolboxes. I've always been into toolboxes, but not actually like working on stuff much with the toolboxes. I grew up in a family where my dad ran a business which he inherited from my grandfather. They used to fix refrigerators and ACs and stuff, so I grew up around tools and machine grease and all that stuff, and my parents just didn't let me mess with that stuff, but I was really interested growing up around that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's it for today. Like I said, I just want to like document this. So peace.